Hello everybody and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, where we talk all things Dream Team, helping you to win your mini leagues. Before we start, hit that like button, hit that subscribe and notch the bell. Make sure you get notified every time a new podcast lands. If you do want more content or just to show your support for the Dream Team Tonic lads, head over to patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. The link is in the description below. We offer access to an amazing Discord, exclusive articles, fixture easies, live question and answers and much more, all to help you improve you as a Dream Team manager. Without further ado, I hand you over to me, Tony, for today's podcast. Enjoy and thanks for your support. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, episode 98. I'm Tony, and with me this week, the usual suspects. Ben, are you there, mate?
Hello. All right,
Hello,
mate?
All good, mate. All good.
Good.
And James, are you there?
I'm here, Tony.
Excellent. Busy weekend. How have you done? How have you done this weekend? Obviously, Liverpool come off the back of a couple of decent results.
Fantastic, mate. Yeah, what those two goals Gakpo and Nunes scored. What they were both, they made my heart sing that day. They were fantastic goals. Nice to get back-to-back wins for a change.
Yeah, seem to bounce back to form, and obviously Leicester. Well, it weren't a 3-0 game, was it?
No. 12 men on the pitch for United, though, weren't there?
It's back to the Fergie days, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You're not talking about the crowd, are you?
Definitely not. Rovers sneaked to win the last minute, more or less last minute winner against Swansea at home. You probably wouldn't have seen that as you lads probably don't look lower than the Premier League.
I thought it was 1-1. Did they get? It was 2-1 in the end, was it?
1-0, mate.
Oh, was it?
That's last minute winner.
Okay.
Yeah, we went something like 33 games without drawing a game, and then we drawn 4 in a row or 3 in a row. Nice to get back to winning ways for the Rovers. Right, anyway, let's jump into the teams and see how they've done this week. James, you're first up, mate.
Yeah, another decent week. 29 points from my United block. That seems to be the way to go at the moment. No one else is keeping clean sheets, apart from Liverpool got one this week, which was possibly a tad unexpected, although Newcastle haven't exactly been scoring a lot of goals recently. But yeah, 29 points from De Gea, Martinez, Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. In midfield, Fernandes 12 points, Odegaard 5, De Bruyne 8 up front. Rashford 13, Haaland 0, and Kane 5. So 72 points in total. 12k. I've gone up 1,000 places. I made one transfer on Thursday, which was Trippier to De Bruyne. Probably should have done that the week before, really, but that Bournemouth game was quite tempting. But as it turned out, I probably should have done it the week before. But there you go. So yeah, quite happy with that.
Good week, mate. Very good week. 72 points. Right. On to my team. De Gea in the net, 8 points. Wan-Bissaka came on for a clean sheet, 5. Unexpected clean sheet, to be fair. I thought Leicester played very, very well. United were lucky to still be in the game after like half an hour.
De Gea was on fire the first half an hour.
He was. It's the same stuff, innit? In football, you don't take your chances, and next thing you know, United are 1-0 up. It's frustrating. But yeah, Shaw 8 points, clean sheet. Diaz and Walker, 2 new recruits, 0 and 0. But I mean, to be fair, if I'd have kept the Newcastle defenders, who was it? Byrne and Trippier. To be fair, they got 2 points each, didn't they? I think they both had a 7 rating. Byrne and Trippier. So Not the greatest return from them. De Bruyne, 8 points. Fernandez, 12 points. Mahrez did not play. Nketiah, 3 points. Haaland, 0. And the on-fire Rashford, 13 points. I think it was 61 points for the week, I think it was. 60, 20, I'll not put it on, sorry. After totting up, 29, 41, 44, 57. 57 points for the week. All 5 transfers made. Now, it was a Newcastle exodus for me. Almiron, Dan Burn and Trippier all out for Mahrez, Diaz and Walker. Obviously, Mahrez did not play, but I expected him to come on, to be fair. But it's all right. It's not a move that was just dependent on this week. Obviously, looking forward as well. I think this podcast team is in 7K, I think. 7K, so it's all right. Not doing too bad overall. My best side is still sat in 8th after the weekend. Steady away. I think maybe made up 3 points on the leader or something. Not much movement up there. Saka was a tough one this week.
Did you have him?
No, could have done with him losing that Star Man award that he got. But yeah, nothing too much gain, nothing too much lost this week. So still sat in 8th, chasing that big prize. Hopefully a bit more goes my way in midweek. How's your team doing, Ben?
Yeah, 67 points this week. 4 United at the back. So De Gea, Shaw, Martinez all got 8. Wan-Bissaka came off the bench for 5. I've got Ake, who came off the bench after Man City conceded, and so didn't get the clean sheet points. Fernandez, 12. Mahrez didn't play, being rested hopefully for the Champions League game. De Bruyne, Starman. Rashford, Starman. Sorry, no, weren't Starman, was he? Fernandez was Starman. Rashford's got 2 goals.
Yeah.
Haaland missed a few sitters, didn't he? Nothing.
He did.
Kane got an assist. So, yeah, not too bad. 1 transfer left. This team's now 14K. So, yeah, gone up 4K this week. My best team's now 468th. And that's gone up 100 places. So, yeah, good. 66 points off the top 100, my best team now.
Excellent. Making ground. That top 100 finish is definitely in sight now. Right. Enough of the teams. Over to the questions. Connor, first up. My question for the pod is, can you keep the Carriers talk down to a minimum, please? I do not want to cry at work. James, you know all about Carriers.
I do, yeah. His last game for us was the Champions League final.
Oh.
He did get quite a heavy blow from the cheating something or other, Sergio Ramos, who also decided to take out Salah in that game.
But he dislocated his shoulder with a wrestling move, was it?
Yeah, he did. But I'm not bitter about that. I was just wondering, are we allowed to talk about Mark Gillespie instead of Karius? Because he's Newcastle's other reserve keeper, but he hasn't played for like 2 years or something. I don't think.
Darlow's on loan, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dubravka's going to be there with his half and half scarf after playing for United earlier on in the Carabao Cup. He's on a winner, isn't it? Winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a medal if they win, don't he?
I'm not sure if he gets a medal. He must do if he's part of the club. I don't know. We didn't play in the competition for Newcastle, so he probably won't get a medal.
Yeah.
But he'll be there if Newcastle win the cup. He'll be on the bus, won't he? Going around the town.
Yeah.
I've no doubt. Yeah.
Did he play in the cup for United?
Yeah.
So you'll get a medal if United win. So basically, he's got a United shirt on, hasn't he? Underneath his Newcastle shirt. He's like thinking, I just want a medal. Come on, United. Yeah, Dubravka cheering on United. So, yeah, Karius could be in the net, couldn't he?
Yeah, amazing. Making your debut for a team in the cup final.
It's not bad, is it?
Mm.
Not bad.
Do you
And
know,
he'll have an absolute worldie.
could do.
Or an absolute nightmare.
We're talking
It'd
about
be funny.
Carrier here, Tony. I'm not sure he has Worldy in his locker.
You don't reckon? You might be a different man now.
Could be.
You know that goal that Benzema scored against Liverpool in the Champions League final. I forgot how bad that was. That what Karius did until I seen it the other day. It come up on my time feed. Literally threw it on his foot, didn't he?
He wasn't very good for Liverpool, I have to say. Not just that game. He just wasn't good. Full stop.
I thought the Liverpool fans were a bit harsh on him. Only joking. Anyway, enough Carriers talk. He told us not to talk about it. Anyway, yeah, good luck, Newcastle. Jesus, you're going to need it. Lee Hooper, is it time to shift Trippier on with United and City up next? So Newcastle got another couple of tough games coming up. Has the bubble burst? Different team without Bruno G. What do you reckon, Ben?
Obviously he's a rating magnet, Trippier. So you don't really want to. No one really wants to sell him, but I would say so just because of the fixture count with Newcastle not being in Europe and no double game weeks planned until at least April. So yeah, I'd move him on. I think I've got him in one team left at the minute. So yeah, definitely move him on to someone who's playing in Europe.
Yeah, James.
Ship him out. Yeah, I've taken him out of nearly all my teams now. It's just not worth it. I don't think you want players with the extra fixtures for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and his price range as well. You can ship him to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even use that money, put him to someone cheaper, European player, and use a bit of the extra dosh to improve other areas of your team if you need it. So yeah, completely agree with you both. Andy Boyner has been on. Excuse me. That's all the lager that. Are Liverpool really back, or should we hold on a week or two for more information? James, you're well positioned to answer this one.
They still look a bit vulnerable at the back to me. Trent looked good though, I have to say.
Some of the deliveries were unbelievable, weren't they?
Some great balls, really fantastic. And he hasn't been quite. Well, he's actually got more targets to aim for now, hasn't he? Now that we've got some players back.
Yeah.
Going forward, we're looking a lot more cohesive now. I would wait and see how we get on against Real Madrid, though. I did bring in Trent and Robertson into a couple of lower placed sides, and they've done well. Trent got star man, didn't he? 15 points.
Yeah,
that's a decent return. I think they could be turning the corner. Big Verge is back, of course. That helps. And with all the other players we've got coming back now as well, I think that's everyone's back apart from Diaz now. And he's not that far. He'll be back in March. So yeah, we're looking a lot better. And the Stefan can't pronounce his surname. Bajetic.
Yeah.
I tell you, he's 18 years old. He's come into the side, and match before last, he was man of the match. He was brilliant. He's only 18, but he's come in and he's given us a bit of energy in there, and that's what we needed. We've had to play him, but he's really, taking the ball by the horns, and I could see him playing most. I think he'll play most games for the rest of the season now because we haven't got anyone else.
Yeah.
Even when Thiago's back, I think he'll probably play. So, yeah, he's looking good.
Not necessarily Thiago loves an injury, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got his thighs are made of glass, and his hamstrings are made of cheese strings.
Yeah, he does love a few weeks on the injury table. But yeah, definitely positive signs coming out of Liverpool. Um, Obviously, like you say, vulnerability still at the back, but with Trent, he's one of them players where he's so dangerous going forward, especially when he's on song, that you're not just you're not getting him in for the clean sheets, are you?
No.
See, he's somebody who can a little bit like Trippier, get good ratings, and he's a goal threat and an assist threat. Um, Obviously on set pieces and stuff. So yeah, what do you reckon, Ben? About Liverpool?
Yeah, I brought Trent into my third best team, and I was going to put him in my second best team, but I was trying to hold a Man City blocking like a couple of Man City defenders in that team,
Yeah,
and with them having a double game week this week, and obviously Yaki was on the bench and Akanji were on the bench. I've got them too. I didn't want to ship them out yet because I thought they might come on and get a clean sheet against Forest, and then they've got Red Bull Leipzig in Europe, and then Bournemouth and Bristol City after that. So I thought, is it worth moving over? So I bottled it in that team, and then obviously when he got 15 points, I looked at Liverpool's fixtures and they had Newcastle away, Real Madrid at home. I thought it's a tricky couple of games.
yeah,
He was definitely on my mind though. It's the one I was going to bring in that team, but I got him in my third team, which was good.
yeah,
Um, I think we can start looking at Trent definitely, obviously because he's explosive. He can get the ratings and assists and star man's up the odd goal as well. Robertson doesn't seem to be getting on the ratings at the moment, but obviously he can do it.
yeah,
I'd be definitely keeping an eye on Liverpool, but obviously I'll have to wait to see how they get on against Madrid on Tuesday night.
yeah,
Because if they do well against them and go through, well, we won't know until next month if they go through because we've got to wait a couple of weeks for the second leg. But we'll see how they get on in the first leg, and then we've got an idea if we can look at them. So
yeah.
possibility of bringing them in March, yeah.
If they're a couple of goals down, then going to Madrid, you probably expecting Liverpool to exit the competition.
Mm,
If it's a draw, I don't
mm,
know. It's going to be a lot of guessing, isn't there,
yeah,
around these fixtures? I think Chelsea lose 1-0.
yeah,
So we don't know whether they're going to have any fixtures. But Spurs lost 1-0. So does that mean it's going to depend? Like if Liverpool have a good a good win against Real Madrid and they take a lead over to Madrid,
mm,
um, then you're probably starting to look at Salah as a replacement for Kane. If they exit, there's all sorts of permutations, isn't there? It's just we've got such a wait before we know it all. It's going to be a
yeah,
tricky few weeks to guide through.
yeah.
But
Next month's could swing quite a different with
yeah,
different ways the fixture count and that. I've had a
definitely.
good look at it this week. Obviously, building the fixture ticker for the Patreon, and there's a lot of swings that could go either way. For example, like Man United, they've definitely got 4 games next month, but they could have 7. So
Yeah,
if they go out of the Europa League on Thursday, then they've only got 4 games, but they could have 7 for next month.
yeah.
Mm.
So it's
It's a massive
interesting,
difference.
yeah.
Massive difference, and
And
obviously, go on.
also, I was going to say that we've from next month we've only got 15 transfers left. So if you are thinking about getting a block in, that's like quite a big amount of the last your 15 transfers, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you go in the Liverpool block, for example.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, it's just we just need that information. Need it sooner. So
Mm,
15 transfers, not a lot now. Really are getting to the business end now. And
yeah,
if you've got a United block, say
mm,
full, maybe 3 or 4 United defenders and De Gea, then to switch up maybe to a City block or to a Liverpool block, whatever it might be, you're pretty much using your March transfers.
yeah,
They're done unless you've got some left over from this month. It might ease it a little bit, but yeah, some big decisions to be made. Definitely. definitely. I did bring Trent into my Costa team. I brought Trent and Sal in. I think I did bring him into one other team. Um, yeah, more to goal differential. To be fair, I wasn't. I wasn't expecting a clean sheet and a great performance from Liverpool. To be honest, um, well, I probably bashed them for the last couple of weeks, haven't I? So
It's not like you, Tony.
I was never going to go in with any confidence. So, but yeah, a nice haul, uh, some nice goals from Liverpool. They look pretty good. Although Newcastle still look good with 10 men. They played pretty well, I thought, with 10 men. Still put up a fight. Just a different team without Bruno G, definitely. Makes that midfield tick for them. Yeah, and Trippier, he's just a magnet, isn't he, for ratings? He almost stole Starman, didn't he?
Yeah.
Very, very nearly.
Crazy.
I think if he'd have stayed on the pitch, I think he'd have snuck Starman.
Yeah.
Although obviously Trent, he kept his rating kept building and building, but yeah, he's so close. Right, two similar questions here about midfielders and options and this that. We've got Aman and Lee Hooper. We've got outside of Saka, Fernandez, KDB, and Mahrez. Which other 3 or 4 different midfielders would you put into your team? Would you reckon, James? Who's some of these midfield options other than those 4?
Well, you've got to put Odegaard in there, I think, isn't it? Outside of those 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside.
It's tricky,
I
isn't
think
it? It's tricky.
you're scraping the barrel after that.
Yeah.
Well, not you. There's no real reason to look any further at the moment, is there?
Yeah.
That's the trouble.
What about my mate Grealish?
I knew you were going to say him.
Hey, he's
He's
done all
not a
right.
bad shout.
We were all slagging him off on the pod a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. So he's shit. But I got backed into a corner and he's come out fighting. I think he's got 17 points in the last 3 games.
To be fair,
7 and a 5.
you didn't have any other options.
No.
You had to go to Grealish.
I did, yeah. It was I think the choice was between a City defender and then Grealish, Gundo, Silva, Rodri. And I thought, Grealish, let's go for it, let's see. And he's done all right.
Yeah, he has. To throw a name in there, I've got my eye on Jared Bowen. At the moment, it's 3.9 million. Playing as a centre forward for West Ham now, out of position. And West Ham, obviously, in Europe now. So they'll be coming back into the Europa Conference League in March. So we'll get to know the draw. I think it's on Friday, the draw. So we'll get to find out who they're playing, and then they've literally got double game weeks all the way through March, West Ham. So they're interesting me. I wouldn't pick a West Ham striker, but if it's a 4th midfielder, possibility Bowen. Definitely, if you're chasing, it could be an option. If you're chasing the mini league, a bit of a differential.
It's a good shout.
I think he got Starman a couple of weeks ago. Got 13-pointer, and I was looking at it earlier. I haven't got it up to hand at the minute. Can pull it up though. 1 second.
Like I said, then double game weeks, fixture count won't be a problem for West Ham. They are looking awful.
Yeah.
But
they are in the paint trophy, aren't they? So the Mickey Mouse paint.
That's it. And if he plays them games, he is a good shout. It'd be nice if they could get rid of Moisey and get a new manager bounce going, because they've got some talented players there. They've got a talented squad. They should be doing a hell of a lot better.
We do have to be careful. Like, obviously, the Europa Conference League ratings aren't great on Dream Team for some reason. So
that's
literally, unless the player doesn't dominate the game, they're not going to get a rating. So I was looking at got his scores up here. Game week 19, he got Everton, he scored 18 points. So he got Starman and 2 goals. Game week 20 against Derby, got a goal and a Starman. Newcastle 21 blanked. Chelsea 22 got an assist, just missed out on the rating. And tonight he played Spurs and it was 6.4 rating, so didn't get anything. But like I said, the fixtures are turning all right for them when they get these European games.
Yeah.
So it could be an interesting player to have.
Yeah.
Also, really, we're scraping the barrel, like you said. Casemiro, maybe, if United get through. A ratings magnet, likes a
Yeah,
star
for sure.
man, and his suspension's over now. So he'll be playing Thursday, and he'll have a double game week next week against Newcastle and West Ham. So he's back. We'll be back. You could see today that they miss him in the middle of the park, especially in that first half an hour.
Yeah,
Leicester
definitely.
all over him.
Yeah. Overrunning them, weren't they?
And then probably maybe Hoiberg or Kulusevski, really, but I don't really like Kulusevski. He just seems a bit of a. He'll only get an assist, or he doesn't seem to be getting involved in the goals anymore.
Yeah.
Hoiberg's a bit of a ratings magnet, isn't he? Got 3 points again today. Likes a star man. So, but I wouldn't even be looking that far. I'd probably pick the three main ones at the moment, and then if you want a differential, stick a fourth different player in. Don't go too differential, picking 4 different midfielders.
Yeah, you literally,
Yeah,
like you say, you're going to have the nucleus of those 4 that's mentioned:
yeah,
Saka, Fernandez, KDB, and Mahrez. 3 of those, if you are chasing, you're going to have to mix it up because the person you're probably chasing has them 4.
yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to have to play to fixture volume. Like I say, one of them teams, the thing is once we know about Europe,
Mm,
when one of these teams exits Europe, all of a sudden they're not going to be the option, and then you might have to be looking at someone like right. So City go out of Europe, so then do you want Mahrez? Do you want to throw a Casemiro in there? Do I say a Sancho who's scored a couple of goals? He's going to end up as an option if he carries on. It's going to come down to fixture volume, but at this moment in time, as we speak today, those 4. I mean, that's your midfield, isn't it? I literally went Grealish because of fixture volume, so I went Grealish over Saka. But yeah, obviously, I think we'll touch on Arsenal a little bit further on in the questions, but they've got a nice run coming up. Right, Lee Hooper is basically he's saying basically options are. Would you say the only real options now are from 5 strikers, 6 to 7 midfielders, but then in defence it's a little bit wide open because he's saying that because clean sheets at the minute again a bit of a premium. How the hell United got out away with a clean sheet today, I do not know, but yeah, they did. So the United blocks have done all right, to be fair. Other than United, I mean, yeah, City just don't want to keep a clean sheet. Obviously, Liverpool got one, but they still at this moment in time, they were like in the last few weeks, they've not been options really with how bad they've been playing. Would you say that's a fair assessment of what Lee said with 5 strikers, 6 or 7 midfielders are options, and then defenders, it's just take your pick. You reckon, James?
I can see where he's coming from. I think that the United defence. I mean, it's easy to say this because Lee asked this question before United's clean sheet today, and there were question marks over it. But I still believe that United defence is the best way to go. And let's hope they. What should I be saying this as a Liverpool fan? Let's hope they beat Barcelona, so that we don't have to rip our tip. Well, I would have to do some serious surgery if that happened. I'm sure a lot of us would.
Yeah.
It would make our lives a lot easier if United stayed in. Perhaps it might make it more interesting if they didn't.
Yeah.
Because we're approaching that stage of the season where it's going to get more and more template. I think as these big sides, if some, it looks like this year some of them may drop out earlier than they would normally do,
Yeah.
because when they all get to the semi-finals, it's easier. But
Mm.
if we have some big hitters drop out earlier, I think it's going to be and only one or two go through, then we're all going to be loading up on them, aren't we? So it's going to be more and more template as the season goes on. Probably, if they all go out, of course, then it's an open playing field, isn't it? Then we're looking at the cup fixtures to get
Extra
the
games.
extra
Yeah.
games. Yeah, so I sort of know where Lee's coming from, but I would say for me, still at the moment, the United defence is probably the one to go for. Possibly Liverpool's fullbacks, but keep an eye on that. And just a word on Chelsea, forget it.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Reece James watching from the stands again, I see.
Is that another injury? Is it a setback?
I think they've probably rested him for the cup for the next European fixture, aren't they?
They're,
That's not till the 7th of March. So I don't know. You never know with him, do you? He's made of glass, so it could be
Potter,
another injury.
Potter said something about that. He felt that this fixture was one that he could rest Silver and Reece James in. Well,
Oh, right.
look at him now after losing.
You got that wrong then.
Every game's hard in the Premier League,
Shocking.
mate.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Obviously, Southampton getting rid of the manager. Yeah, it's a new. I don't know why, but it just you always seem to get that like resurgence, don't you, throughout the squad?
Yeah.
He's played a dangerous game there, Potter, and lost. Not good. Not good.
Everyone's got the chance to impress, haven't they? And they've all got a chance of getting in the team. When you
Yeah.
get a new manager, they always come in and say, "Right, start from fresh."
That's it.
You've all got an opportunity to get in the team now, and then everyone starts training hard in training. They'll try a little bit, 10% harder, aren't they, to start
Yeah.
with the new manager.
That temporary manager they had in, I was quite impressed with him actually. When I saw him in the press conference, he had that manager aura about him, unlike the guy the guy they nicked from Luton.
Nathan Jones.
Yeah,
Honestly, I
he
can't
was
stand
out
that.
of his depth clearly.
Can't stand that bloke. Can't stand that bloke. He's a yeah. He's a tool. Anyway, he won't be coming on the pod as a guest, will he? Right, one from Solo Higgins on the Patreon. I'm relatively new to the game. It's only my second season. I went United block to close the gap to first. David Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Martinez and Shaw. And I've gone ahead this weekend. Shall I stick with the block for the fixtures or choose defenders from other teams to be safe? You reckon, Ben?
I'll say well done, Han Solo, getting a top spot. I think you should hold for now. Wait and see who goes through in the Europa Conference. Europa League. See how they get on in the second leg against Barcelona, and then decide. Because obviously I think we said earlier in the pod, Arsenal have got a lot of fixtures next month, so you could possibly move there. Pretty much everyone's got nice fixtures next month, but Arsenal have got, I think they've got guaranteed 6 games next month, possible 7 if they go through in the last 16. So, yeah, just one to look at. But you can use the last transfers you've got to prepare yourself for March. So you don't have to use them this week. Keep that transfer back.
Yeah.
Or how many transfers you've got back? Did he say?
No.
Right.
What do you reckon, James?
Definitely hold.
I totally agree with Ben. Stick for now. Reassess at the end of the month. I would like to say though that Solo Higgins makes some fantastic end of season presentation awards. Did you see those pictures I sent you?
Yeah, unbelievable. Really
Yeah,
nice. Really
they were
spot
cool,
on.
weren't they?
Very impressed. I think we might see if there's a way we can sort them out for maybe end of season presentations for the Patreon lads.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so watch this space. Watch this space.
Yeah,
I,
fantastic.
I,
Fantastic. Obviously, I'm running a kids football team now, so I might be interested in a few of them for the end of season awards for the boys.
they are Solo Higgins joining the Patreon. There's probably earned you quite a bit of dosh. So fair play, but yeah, very talented. I love them. I think they're brilliant. Yeah, really good. Again, I completely agree with you too. You've done the right thing. You've gone to United block. You've attacked the fixture volume, and it's paid off. Took you first. If you have got any transfers left, just save them, and plan towards next month. Just keep United block ticking along. Obviously, if they go out, then transfers could be valuable. You want to be able to prep for next month and try and save as many of next month's transfers as you can. Right, DT Patrick, who is the best combination from here on, in your opinions? KDB and Nketiah, or Odegaard and Kane? Ben, what do you reckon, mate?
At the moment, it's quite tricky, but longer term, I would say Odegaard and Kane. Kane's on penalties, and Odegaard and Kane are both nailed in their teams. The thing with Nketiah, it could be out soon when Jesus comes back. Jesus back due in March, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the resurrection is in March.
Yeah, not April.
He's coming back. Easter.
Yeah.
Jesus, he'll be back in Easter. Yeah. What do you reckon, James?
Well, Patrick does like these tricky ones, doesn't he? I think he should be asking himself why he hasn't got Kane and KDB.
Yeah.
But if you had to, if at a push, I would go for the captains, go for Odegaard and Kane. I say, like Ben.
Yeah, completely agree. And Nketiah's days are probably numbered. Keeps missing chances as well. Yeah, as soon as Jesus is back, obviously, Nketiah will find himself back on that bench. And also with Trossard coming in, if they want, they could also play Martinelli through the middle, Trossard on the left. So yeah, he's a bit of a risk. So Odegaard and Kane for me. Right, next up, Aman. With the rotation, are there any Man City defenders worth having, or is it better to look elsewhere? Dan?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what Pep will do next game?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to look elsewhere. If you're going to be moving on to anyone, I definitely won't be moving on to Man City defenders at the moment for myself. Lovely fixtures, but I don't know. I just don't. I don't want them players at the moment. What do you think, James?
I've gone off the City defence, but because you just don't know who's going to play. I mean, Diaz seems to be nailed at the moment, or the most nailed, if there is such a thing. But he's really expensive. So I don't know. I'm not. I brought in Ake in a few teams last week, and that's burnt me. I'm looking forward to getting rid of him again now. I mean, I think I said it last week or the week before. The justification for that was, he's the only one that really you'd see as playing left back. But then he brings in Bernardo Silva and plays him in some sort of,
Love it.
role where he can play anywhere across the left. So who knows? I just don't see any of them being nailed at the moment, and the one that is too expensive.
I think
in my opinion.
I think if you're already on Man City defenders, just hold them now till the end of the month, and then reassess, see who goes through in Europe, and then choose where you want to go after that.
Yeah.
Maybe go for Trent if you want to try something a bit different.
Yeah,
Because he's
definitely.
got that explosiveness.
Definitely. Let's say it's. I mean, they're not keeping clean sheets. They're they're expensive. Well, some of them are. Obviously, the cheaper options got dropped this week, being Ake and a
Yeah,
Kanji. Lewis, obviously, not seen for a
3
couple of
games
games as
now.
well. Is it three? Is it 3 games now he's been missing? There's a few guys in the top 100 that have took a bit of a punt on a Edison, Diaz, Walker, Block, Laporte. Obviously, it's not paid off so far, but it's an option. Obviously in the podcast team, I brought in Diaz and Walker. I think the Arsenal game might have been a little bit of a wake up call for Pep just to say, look, you put Diaz and Laporte in there, and Walker. That I say experience. I think Diaz is only young, isn't he? But that they're the mainstays really. If you're gonna have a settled back line for City, you probably see Walker, Diaz, Laporte, and then you'd probably have had Cancelo on the left back, but obviously he started sleeping with his daughter, so obviously he got kicked out to Bayern. But obviously, so the left back role is a little bit more open. But then he throws Bernardo in there, whereas Aki were looking like a favourite, weren't he?
Yeah.
We have had a bit of information on how he likes to attack games, and certain games he likes to have certain defenders on the pitch and that. But I think maybe from now, we might see that central pairing stay there until probably Stones comes back from injury. Or what. Do you know what I mean? There's all sorts of options. And if Walker stays injury free, I can see him just keeping that right back role. Maybe Rico Lewis just getting a few cameos here and there. So I think maybe we are going to turn a corner away from that rotation of the defence. It's so important to keep a centre half pairing playing week in, week out. It's such a pivotal role in the team. Them two centre halves. Like obviously Liverpool has suffered with it over the years. Obviously losing players. United have struggled for so long, and even Ten Hag keeps rotating his centre halves. He's getting away with it at the minute, but don't know whether that's going to maybe start catching them out. But yeah, I think City defenders might become an option in the next couple of weeks. But again, I won't make any move onto any team at this moment in time without knowing what's going on in Europe. Obviously, I've already spent all my 5 transfers in my best side anyway, going to the United block. So, yeah, I'm just hoping United qualify. Right, Mav, what would your best 11 be if you had to have City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Man U players in there? No Kane. What do you reckon, James?
In goal, I'd go for David De Gea. In defence, I'd go Shaw, Martinez and Trent. Midfield, Saka, KDB, Mahrez, Fernandes. Up front, Haaland, Rashford and Nunes.
Ooh.
Wildcard pick.
Is that recency bias?
Well, he's playing as the number 9. He's more of a target man. I've said earlier in the season, we are changing our play to make him the focal point. He's clearly got talent. Klopp has a history of turning average forwards into world-class forwards. He's getting those chances. He's definitely. It might be a bit too soon for that, but I mean, anyone who watches him can see that he's so quick. He has got talent. He could be an essential pick at some point. Maybe not this season, maybe next season. But I think he's getting more chances than Salah. Salah seems to be more in a providing role, as we saw with the goal, at the weekend. Salah's on penalties. That's in his favour. And of course, he's got the history. It is a toss up between those two, really. I just think the way that we're playing suits Nunes more than it does Salah, which is why Salah's not been firing like he has in previous seasons.
Yep, good point. Ben?
Yeah, well, I'll start from the strikers. I've gone Salah, Haaland, Rashford,
Yeah.
just because Salah's like on penalties and loves a Star Man award. Just I just prefer him just because of the penalties as well.
Yeah.
Same midfield: De Bruyne, Mahrez, Fernandes, and Saka. Shaw and Trent, and then my third defender. If I was picking now, it'd be Dallo. But
Yeah.
obviously, before the new transfers come in, I'll get to see who who went through in Europe. So I might possibly start. I might possibly go Zinchenko instead. Start looking at Arsenal defenders for their.
Was that recency bias, Ben?
Hey. Hey. Do you
No,
know
I
what? Do you
have
know
to
what?
say.
I brought Zinchenko into my fan team.
Did
Second
you?
chance, yeah.
Well done.
Took out. I think I took out Trippier. Have they got a double next week, Arsenal? With it?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
got another
So
double.
I took Trippier out and put Zinchenko in. And I think I'm something like 290th in that second chance league. Not second chance, second half league.
Yeah.
Doing all right in that. Yeah.
It's just quite. This is the fantastic thing about Dream Team is that the swings in fixtures is amazing. If teams go out of cups and Europe and that,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, Man United, they could either have 4 or 7 fixtures next month, so
Yeah.
it would be a big swing. Well, obviously Arsenal's guaranteed they're through to the next round, so they've got the 2 games and the possible third game for the first leg of the last quarter final. So yeah, that's why I'm thinking maybe moving to Arsenal.
Could I just point out on Dream Team Professor's last pod that, and him being an Arsenal fan, he said he wouldn't touch Arsenal defenders at the moment.
Yeah.
So he probably know
Definitely.
better than us because obviously he's a big Arsenal fan. So
Yeah, definitely. They've not been very good lately. But look at the fixtures for March. Bournemouth at home, Europa League, last 16 first leg. Fulham away, Europa League second leg. Then you've got Palace at home, international break. Then they play Leeds at home, and then possible quarter final in Europa League first leg. So that is what's making me think possible of bringing a couple of them in. Maybe not a
yeah.
full block, but two or three maybe.
Mm.
Just just something I'm interested in. But most of the teams have got good fixtures. You've got City's got nice fixtures.
Yeah.
Chelsea's got nice fixtures.
Yeah, we touched on that, didn't we? About
Yeah.
how many of the big clubs are running into a period of very good fixtures.
Yeah,
I don't think you can go much wrong. I think ultimately it's just going to come down to European football. Like if Arsenal is still top of the league and they're still fighting for that title, are they going to rest in Europe?
yeah, that's
You
another
just-
thing.
You just don't know, do you?
Mm.
You'd think City, obviously, being in Champions League, it's a bit different. It's probably more. It's worth the effort, kind of thing. I'm not saying that the Europa League isn't, but Arsenal, Arteta might feel, depending on the opposition,
Yeah,
that he could probably rest some of these bigger hitters in the European games to try and get that title win over the line.
yeah,
It's
that
just
is
one to look
definitely
out
something to
for.
consider. Yeah,
But ultimately, I think with the way the games fall, you're going to be doing that blind anyway. If you're going to go Arsenal for March, then you can be in there before you know whether they're going to rest the team or not. You'd like to think that you play the nucleus and then just rest 2 or 3, but we've seen it before where he's rested quite a few, hasn't he? Changed the whole top line.
Might depend on who they draw. Well, I'm sure it will have a factor. Will be who they draw as well, won't it? I think it's the 9th of March, isn't it? The draw.
So find out on the
That's
9th of
just off the
March.
top of my head.
I've got it written down somewhere.
Yeah, I looked it up several times in the last few weeks. I'm pretty sure it's the 9th when they find out who their opponents are going to be.
So you've already probably made your moves by then on which way you're going to go for March.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you want to go that way, I would unless you're desperate to make those transfers. It might make sense to hold.
Yeah, just to hold
Yeah.
off and
The draw is on the 24th. The draw is on the
Ah.
24th of February after the second leg on the Thursday. So it's on the Friday.
so we're hoping they
Oh,
draw
okay.
one of the bigger sides.
Yeah.
And then obviously you'd like to think that you'll play a much stronger side.
Yeah,
If,
because
if they draw a minnow, you probably know they're going to get arrested.
I think you're looking at the Champions League draw, James, because
Uh,
we're around ahead in the Europa League, so we're in the last 32 now. So once
Yeah.
this round's finished, then we're in the last 16, the same as the Champions League, and then they marry up for the quarterfinals.
I knew I shouldn't have relied on my aging memory.
Right. Anyway. Oh. Looking at March, you've Arsenal get a favourable fixture in the Europa. This is from Baz Bestos. If Arsenal get a favourable fixture in the Europa, then their overall March fixtures will be absolutely radiant, and it could be power on time, especially if United go out to Barca. Obviously, Saka and Odegaard will be locks, but who else would you look to bring in, taking into account possible rotation in Europa fixtures, baby? I mean, we've actually just sat there discussing that, Baz. But yeah, we just touch on a few of the Arsenal players then, Ben. Who's you reckon, mate? Who's other options other than Saka and Odegaard, obviously?
Well, it's tricky, really. I probably wouldn't look at anybody in midfield or attack. You'd probably be looking at a few defenders like Zinchenko, Gabriel, maybe Saliba, and maybe Ramsdale. I can't really think of anybody else in attack I'd want. Martinelli's down as a striker. Trossard's down as a striker. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Jesus when he comes back. They might rotate with Nketiah. Nketiah might still get the Europa League. So it's a bit... Yeah, we don't know. So
It's a bit up in the air, isn't it?
definitely Saka and Odegaard, though. Definitely in the mind for the March fixtures.
Yeah, I know Fabio Vieira got a few games in Europe as well, and he looked very good. But he doesn't get enough minutes in the Premier League, I don't think, to quite justify it. Although I did take a punt earlier in the season on him, just purely for the two Europa games, and they paid off handsomely. So if they do get a minnow and they get a smaller side, who you think, yeah, actually, what they could give him a bit of a hammering, then maybe like a 1 week punt or a 2 week punt on Vieira might be worthwhile.
I'm hoping they don't get too much of an easy fixture, because then they will play a weakened side.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what you're going to look at. If it's a weakened fixture, if it's a weak opposition, they're going to play weaker. And then that's when the likes of Vieira and others will be starting. Like you're saying, Nketiah, if Jesus is back, then Nketiah will probably start the European games, which might mean he is an option, because if they do it over the 2 weeks, if the two games, so is it midweek, then a Premier League game, then midweek?
Yeah.
So he might, Nketiah could be a good option then, if they got someone who you thought they were going to hammer. Even if it was just a little punt transfer in for that week or for the week and a half, and then punt back out.
But if you're looking at it like that, then, well, even if you only had them Arsenal players for the league matches, they're quite favourable league fixtures, aren't they? Even if they didn't play in European leagues.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, it's going to be a bit of a gamble. You're going to put these players in. Are they going to have double game weeks or are they not? We don't know, do we?
Yeah.
We don't know, but you like to attack the fixture volume. They're only...
Arteta he did seem to be going pretty strong in the group stage. He was just like rotating one centre half, and he was bringing Vieira in for Odegaard, and then he was leaving it pretty strong, wasn't he? And Nketiah was playing instead of Jesus. It's probably like for 3 or 4 changes. He was keeping the pretty strong teams. So even like I said on the Discord today, it only takes a minute, girl, for a clean sheet points.
It's
So
true.
even if Ben White or someone comes off the bench for a minute, you're getting a clean sheet points.
Yeah. It's true, mate. That's all it takes. What do you reckon, James? Any
Nothing. I think Ben's covered it there. Don't forget Smith Rowe could be back as well at some
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah,
it's the only name not mentioned there, I think.
he's been coming back for about 3 weeks, for 3 months, hasn't he?
Yeah, he keeps threatening to scare all
He's
those
had more
Martinelli
comebacks
owners.
than Tyson Fury.
He's turning into a Phil Jones, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, yeah. Right, Ash has been on Twitter, on the Discord, on Twitter. He's messaging on Twitter anyway. How the actual fuck? That might be why. That might be why he put it in on Twitter. How the actual fuck can I call back 100 points? James, I reckon you're well positioned to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm now 7 in my pub league. I'm now 7 points behind the leader. He thought I was chatting to him back in November, and he was like, "When you go to Venezuela, what you've got to pay me before you go because I he was like worried he'd never see the money." I was 250 points behind him. It's now 7 points. I've won the league for the last few seasons. He's literally convinced. I don't think he's even looking at it because he hasn't said anything, and I've deliberately kept my mouth shut because I know as soon as I start ribbing him, he'll start taking it seriously again. So
What did he
I'm now
do?
7 points
Did he
behind him.
Did he
Hey?
put a Southampton block in or something? What did he do?
No,
So he's
he's just
250 point lead.
First of all, he didn't know there was a wild card after the World Cup. So I went full Newcastle block with that team, and made a load of other changes. Then he kept the likes of Jesus in there and used his transfer allowance to take him out. So yeah, he's just clearly wheeling along in blind ignorance that I've closed the gap by 243 points. Next, I wouldn't be surprised if I overtake him midweek. And all I've done is just done that by making sensible moves.
Yeah.
No, nothing crazy. No wild punts. Nothing like that. That's not my style generally. That's desperation generally. I mean, when you're in the last couple of weeks of the season, you might want to go a bit out there, a bit maverick, as you might say.
Yeah.
I know Ash pretty well, and I know that he keeps talking about bringing in Chelsea blocks and things. Mate, it doesn't look like you're going to win it by doing that. Not at the moment. So just keep it sensible. And 100 points isn't a lot, really. You can still do that at this stage of the season. Yeah, it is getting to the point now, though, where I think in a month's time it might be too much because there'll be the player pools will get less and less as we go on, so there'll be less opportunity for differentiating, but it's still doable. Just keep making sensible decisions.
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, Ash, I remember you taking the mickey out of me at the start of the season because I was bottom of your mini league. Now who's laughing? He was laughing at me. Oh, look at you! Look, you're bottom of the league. So I made it my plan to make sure I got back over the top of you. I'm now 48 points ahead of you. Yeah, I've gone all the way up to 13th now, and he's 19th in the mini league. I've just pulled his team up in the mini league, and he's done pretty well this week. Actually, he's not punts, but he's gone for Trent, got like 15
Yeah.
points there, and he got Sancho in as well. So he's got 8 points for that. I don't know if he had Sancho last week as well. He scored last week, didn't he, as
Yeah,
well?
he did. Yeah, it's 2 in a row for Sancho.
Yeah. And he's got Ake. He's the only one that hasn't scored for him. Mahrez didn't play. So all his players have scored this week, 79 points.
Hasn't he got any Chelsea in there then?
No, I think he's got a head-to-head bet with Lee Hooper.
Right.
I think I seen on the Discord they were chatting about it. So maybe that's what he's on about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Surely he's not 100 points behind though. I don't know. Lee's been having a fantastic season, even though he wouldn't admit it himself.
You wouldn't think so from listening to him.
Yeah. Yeah, like exactly what James says. Just stick to the obvious players. Obviously, when we get a bit closer to the end of the month, then you can start differentiating. But don't go too wild. Like you said, don't go for a Chelsea block at the moment. No, it's not on the cards for me. We don't even know who's going to play. It's a bit like Man City. Badiashile is not even available for the Champions League, is he?
No.
Yeah, Ash knows that. I discussed it with him the other week,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Reece James is probably the only one I'd consider from Chelsea, but like he gets injured every other week, so
Yeah.
like he wasn't in this week, so he's completely blank this week, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Chilwell's not an option either, is he? He's got Cucurella to fight for in that sort of left-sided role. I don't. Yeah, it's just not no go at the moment. Apart from James, if he can stay out the treatment room.
Yeah. I think he's just gotta play it sensible, like James said. He's have the obvious. So have the obvious players, attack the fixture volume. To claw back 100 points, you need as many fixtures as you can get. So fill your team with the players that have the fixture volume. Don't be taking punts on I don't know, Brighton players that don't have volume. Yeah, they might score every week, but they don't have that volume that's going to be able to allow you to bring back 100 points. You're possibly going to, usually to bring back that lead, you're going to need a block, I'd say. Like James, 250 points. I mean, that's massive. That's a massive. But with how many clean sheets Newcastle kept since the World Cup, I mean, what do you get? So you've got 4 defenders and the keeper. You've got 5. It's 40 points usually for a clean sheet for a block. They keep 5 or 6 clean sheets. That's it. And they have only Trippier. You're making up so much ground just with that block. So I'd probably wait for the European games to play out. See who's got the European fixtures, and block on a team that you fancy with the best fixtures and the most fixtures. And then have your usuals in. Make sure you've got De Bruyne in. Make sure you've got Kane in. Rashford is pretty much essential right now. Players like that. It's a bit punty going on Chelsea, hoping the tide turns kind of thing. It's not one for me, not yet. You need to see some spark. Probably a new manager bounce by the way that things are going on. I think is Potter backed into like 1-4 to be the next manager sacked or something.
The odds have been slashed, haven't they? Which makes you think it might happen. But they've given him all that money to spend. Surely,
he's a good manager as well. He is. He built something very, very good at Brighton. I think you've got if you're going to pick a manager like Graham Potter, you've got to give him the time. Let him now. Just stop signing players. Let him work with what he's got and let him build something.
Yeah, but he's not a wizard, Tony.
Unless it's the striker. let him buy a striker, I say. But that's it.
Yeah, because I mean, at the moment
he couldn't buy a striker at Brighton, could he? Neil Mopay.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have much of a budget there, did he? But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm surprised Aubameyang hasn't played more games. They've got no one else. Aubameyang will score goals. He's proved it. I just don't get it. It's almost like maybe he's been late for training twice or something. Well, yeah, fucking forget about that. Just get him in there. He'll get you some goals. It's bonkers.
Has he been late for training at Chelsea now?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just speculating. But you know what it's
Yeah,
like.
carry on.
He's throughout his career, even when he was at Dortmund, he was uh, always being late for training and stuff like that. It's just the way he is. But
That's
when you've got no strikers, surely you've got to find a way to. He's not captain, is he? You don't have to make an example of him.
Yeah.
That's
Stick
why.
him in, for God's
That's
sake.
why Klopp didn't buy him for Liverpool, innit? Like he
I
knew
would.
him from Dortmund.
Well, Klopp always says that you never go back. It's very rare for. He's not the type of manager that will go back and buy a player that he's had before.
Really?
Yeah. He said that. He says I've worked with that player. He likes to work with new talent.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right, the Honey Badger is torn between switching Matoma to Odegaard or taking Ake out for Robertson. He's only got one transfer left. What would you do, Ben?
If I was there with one transfer, I'd go for Odegaard. I'd get rid of Mitoma and bring in Odegaard. Mitoma's blanking next week as well. He's got no fixture. Sorry, he's blanking at the weekend, isn't he? Let me just pull the fixtures up.
Yeah.
He's blank at the weekend, but they're playing Stoke, aren't they? Yeah,
The cup.
playing Stoke in the cup. Sorry, yeah. So they do have a game, but yeah, I'd go to Odegaard for me. Ake might get some minutes off the bench. He might start some games. So there's not. That's the good thing about Dream Team. You can get points from the bench for a defender if they get a clean sheet. So yeah, definitely hold Ake for them fixtures.
Yeah. James?
I would keep Matoma and get rid of Ake.
You're sick of him though, aren't you? I've got him in a couple of teams, but
He's just still fuming with him, James.
I'm not happy with him, no. But I mean, he's not playing he's not getting game time. I just think, and Matoma's doing well. Brighton have got reasonable fixture volume. I would probably keep Matoma and get rid of Ake.
I think
and,
it's
and
for
I
the
don't
rest of
think,
the month though, mate.
Hmm?
For the rest of the month, because you'll get new transfers at the next month, won't he?
True. Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it anyway. Because if one transfer left, and what should he do? Should he take?
Oh, I
Ake
see
out
what
of
you mean. So
Mitoma?
that one fixture versus two, then you've got new transfers.
Yeah,
But
That's
then
it, yeah.
is if Ake only plays one of those games, then that argument goes out the window. But yeah, I know where you're coming from. You've made a good point, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think, obviously, Ake, if he come on at the weekend, much to your frustration, James. If City were keeping a clean sheet, I mean, you'd have been buzzing, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Happy days. He comes
so.
on for
Yeah.
a minute and gets nice 5 points for it. So, yeah, same. Leave Ake in. Matoma out for Odegaard. You fancy an Odegaard?
I think
Is it?
you were saying, weren't you? If Ake didn't come on, you would have sold him for Trent later on. Was it you who said it, James?
Yeah. I was planning to get rid of Ake.
Yeah.
I thought I nearly did it before the game. In fact, I did do in a couple of teams, and then I thought, no, I reversed them all, and I thought, let's just see if they come on. They're playing Forest. There's a good chance of a clean sheet here.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. And they didn't get a clean sheet, and Ake comes on for 2 minutes or something. So
That was a
I
strange
wasn't
change.
best pleased, and I probably would have brought Trent in to a few more sides. Yeah, so thanks for making me relive that on the pod. Yeah.
Well,
Trying to get over it. I'm still sort of reeling from that, really.
yeah, like I said, I could have done it with a Kanji, but I just thought the fixtures are too good. They can still get clean sheets in them other games for the rest of the month. But definitely, if they don't book up the the appearances for these two, I think they'll be gone from my side next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, next up is Tony D. Toole off Twitter. I don't know whether this is some like maybe Thomas Tuchel. Anyway, he says surely Klopp still has to go. I'm a big fan of the pod, especially you, Tony, as we share the same name. Are both Rovers fans and have a deep loathing for Jurgen Klopp. James, before you went to your sister's for Sunday dinner, did you find yourself mocking up some image editing and some bloody Tony D. Toole?
Yeah, I think you after all this recent Klopp out stuff, and we've got back-to-back wins now. I felt you needed a bit of medicine, Tony.
Yeah, I mean it's fair. I said to Klopp earlier on. I said like, let me do the team talk before the Newcastle game, and I'll get him going. Anyway, seemed to work. Obviously.
They had 10 men most of the game.
I know. I mean, Nick Pope did you a favour, to be fair. We'll see. I'm still not convinced. I still think Klopp has to go. Just stubborn, just sticking to it. Anyway, Henry Cartridge. In fact, no, we'll do Henry's last. Ryan Driver on the Patreon. Is Sancho upset in the midfield template? Back-to-back goals for Sancho. He'd been missing Annie for quite a while. Snuck back into the team and that. He's doing all right. What do you reckon, Ben?
I'm still not really thinking about him just because there's the template's pretty strong at the moment.
Yeah.
And he started on the bench again today, so
Yeah.
I don't really want players that are going to be on the bench. I look saying that I got Mahrez. Mahrez has been on form, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
I could see Mahrez coming back in. Not for me yet. If you're chasing and you're way behind, I don't mind it as a fourth midfielder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd rather Fernandes.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon James.
Yeah, I wouldn't be touching him whilst he's still coming off the bench for starters, like Ben said. I mean, who would you take out for him? That midfield's most midfields are pretty strong, as Ben said as well. So I agree with what Ben said. Who would you bring him in for? You know, not for me at the moment. You want to see a consistent run of games, and then this is the classic punty pick, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
We know he can do it. We've seen him do it at Dortmund. He hasn't done it at United. We've been burnt before. You can't. One swallow does not make a summer, as they say. He's had 2 good performances. He's still not starting. So I need to see a bit more than that myself.
Yeah,
personally.
definitely. I think it goes back to what we said earlier as well. If you are chasing, I would not be against taking one of the template midfielders out and putting Sancho in. If you're chasing and you need to make up ground, and the person above you has that template, it's not a crazy move, especially if you can hit a run of form. But if I don't think he's not upsetting the template, so to say. He's maybe sneaking into maybe becoming an option, but you've got to see it over a longer period of time, definitely. And he needs to be starting each game, because it's no good him sat on the bench and you're hoping he comes off the bench and hoping in the last 15 minutes he gets a goal or whatever. You can't be playing your dream team like that. So, yeah. Just Henry's last question. Has anyone else noticed the teams sat first and second in the main league have identical teams, have made identical transfers on the same game weeks? 2 separate manager names. Team name of one is Tonic to win it. Thought it looked a bit dodgy myself. You noticed that, Ben?
I have noticed it, yes. It's a bit fishy, isn't it? both support the same team as well.
Mm.
I wonder what's going on there. The teams are exactly the same. Yeah. What do you think about that, James?
I think statistically, to have exactly the same team and all made exactly the same transfers, and for that person to support the same team is about 3 trillion to 1.
Yeah.
So I'm calling it cheat.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like someone's picking their mate's team, picking the same
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't it? Does look. I just the chances that there's two different people. It can't happen. Not to be. If it genuinely is identical and identical transfers, I
Yeah, they
just
are.
don't see that's just impossible. Possible.
Yeah, it's not possible. Is there a rule against? I don't know. Say that is his mate's team, and he's just literally just following his mate.
I doubt there's actually a rule for that, but I would think that the Sun wouldn't look kindly on that. They have some provisions in their rules to say something like our decision is final and you've got no chance to argue against it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you actually sit down and read them, which I have done in the past, I can't quote it verbatim, but yeah, that they won't. I don't think they'll allow that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like you say, it's sussing it all the way through. Same transfers, same teams, same team supported. But yeah,
I would just like to say, if you are the owner of those teams, feel free to contact us and explain the situation, and we'll put your side of the story if there is one to be had.
yeah, definitely. If you are somebody that listens, definitely. Especially because I'm only 6 places behind you, and if we can get you kicked out, happy days. Anyway, right. On to the mini leagues. We've got 3 leagues as usual to read out. James, do you want to start with the Dream Team Tonic Cash League, mate?
What? Somebody's been editing it. Somebody's changed the graphic, Tony.
Have they?
Yeah, something weird going on. Just let me look at the edit history of this. Ben, you've been caught red-handed, mate.
I haven't touched it.
We seem to have a top 11.
It wasn't me.
Well, I won't up. When I got home and I looked at the OneNote, I seen that the leagues weren't in, so I went and started screenshotting them, and I seen that Ben was in 11th, so I screenshotted it, and I thought, oh, we'll do a top 11 again then. And I came back to the OneNote, and all the leagues have been put in, literally
Yeah,
that
that was weird.
second. And I thought, I'd delete it. I'd delete it and put Ben's top 11 in.
Cheers, mate. Get me
All
name
right.
in the lights.
That's
All
it.
right, we'll let him off again. To be fair, it's usually me that pulls these sorts of shenanigans. In 11th, we have Ben Lee.
Whee!
10th, Tom Brinley. 9th, Dan Bartlam. 8th, Tom Brinley again. 7th, Lee Watson. 6th, Stephen Williams. 5th, Andy Allett. 4th, Tom Brinley. 3rd, Andy Allett. 2nd, Simon Davies. And at the top, as he has been for a number of weeks, Anthony Sutcliffe.
I don't get bored of hearing this. Come on. How many Tom Brindleys are up there?
3.
There's a couple in there, isn't there? At least.
3, yeah. Simon
Three,
Davies is just behind you in the leaderboard as well, isn't he? I think he's 11th
Yeah.
on the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, he is having a cracking season as well. Yeah. Nice 30 38-point lead there, is it? Down 4 points from last week. Right, the Patreon League, the DT Tonic Patreon League. I tell you what, I'll give this one a read because I've only just snuck onto it. In 10th, it's me, Anthony Sutcliffe. In 9th, Amandeep Tatler. 8th, Nicola Stephen. 7th, Tom Brindley. 6th, Stephen Broughton. Joint 4th is Wayne Foster Crouch and Jake Bevan. In 3rd, Mark McKee. 2nd, John Mellier. And top of the shop, Lee Hutton. With a nice little lead of 39 points. Well played, mate. And then over to Ben. You have to read this one out, mate. The Second Chance Tonic Cash League.
Yep. Joint 10th place, we have our very own James Fricker and Tom Brinley.
Hey.
Triple joint place in 7th, we have James Fricker, Tom Brinley, and Phil Russo. Joint 5th, we have Phil Russo and Stephen Holt. Joint 3rd, we have Ben Lee and Anthony Sutcliffe.
Hey.
And then 2nd, we have Anthony Sutcliffe and top of the shop, Anthony Sutcliffe. What a season you're having, mate.
They're doing all right, aren't they? Doing all right. Like I say, it's usually one of us each year since we started the pod, haven't we? With, I think, you first year, Ben, had a really, really good season. 19th, you finished the 13th?
Yeah, 19th overall.
19th. You're up there right to the end. And then, James, you had a cracking year last year.
I did, yeah.
Was it the Chelsea block that derailed it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I moved away from the Liverpool block, which is bizarre when you think about it, being a Liverpool fan. But I wanted to win it, so
you've got
to do something different.
You've got to make
not
them...
that different, but there you go. still a decent finish.
Yeah,
180th, 190th, something like that.
Yeah, and then looks like it's my turn this year.
Your turn, mate. Don't forget my World Cup finish.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it's so close. You did so well.
Yeah.
You won a lot of mini leagues though as well, so it softens the blow of not landing on big prizes. To be fair,
I got 8th and 16th in the overall.
At one point, you were only like, was it a couple of points behind?
Points off 5th, yeah.
5th, sorry, yeah.
Well, I think it was either 5th or 3rd. I think it was 5th that paid out. I can't remember now. I was definitely not far off of the cash payments.
Yeah.
Might have been 3rd.
You had a really, really good World Cup game. I do like them World Cup games, to be honest. They're very good. Right, I think that's everything wrapped up tonight, lads. All good. Obviously, we need to keep an eye on these European games and see how it goes. If you are on the Patreon and you've not seen Ben's fixture ticker, find it on the Patreon. Just scroll back down and have a look at it there. It's very good work. It's very helpful for the Dream Team game. Thanks very much, lads.
Cheers, mate.
Good night, boys.
Been a pleasure.
Thanks, everyone, for the questions.
Yep, cheers.
Appreciate it.
Have a good week.
Cheers, everyone.